always been messing around with this idea, talking about clue logged and the front page and how it's currently looking. And the title is probably going to be something like finishing the collection log or something like that. Um, there's a few things that made me want to talk about this. Maybe this is just an excuse so I can nerd out about the front page and clue logged, and because it's also sort of my goal to eventually get to the clue locked stage. I did make a few notes because I've been really struggling on. I kind of know what I want to talk about, but it's gonna be all over the place. So first of all, excuse me for that because it's probably gonna be really all over the place. It's gonna be very rambly, so enjoy that. Back in 2021, 2022, when Saber was still doing collection log related content on YouTube, he used to review the collection logs at the end of the year, back when the collection log net website was still around. And this is also when I first got really introduced into clogging. And what really got me hooked was just seeing what people are up to, seeing obviously where I'm at, and obviously seeing where the top cloggers are at, because obviously you want to see where the top guys are at, what they need, what they got left, and so on. Um, so that video, I can maybe display it here somewhere. Was pretty interesting back then. I watched it a couple months ago, just rewatched it and was like, oh wow, these guys are still around, or this guy has been missing, and so on. Also, Lone Jim Rat made a video about the top 10 cloggers a couple months ago at this point. Also gonna display it somewhere here. Also super interesting. Um, I just like these, well, time capsules, I guess, where you just see where you are, where you've been, where the top guys are, what happened over the years or months. Um, and something else that finally did inspire me to, well, inspire is kind of a silly word for a ramble, but kind of sparked the interest in talking about this is I've been still listening to a lot of skilling rambles, skilling podcasts from Solace, even old Omnia podcasts, Solace and Review, and so on. And Skillers talk about finishing the game, and they refer to that, or they refer to 4.6 or 200 mil all finishing the game, and that's really interesting. I think FE Puppy also says a lot, "Oh, I'm gonna finish the game next year," and they mean 200 mil all. And it always got me thinking, when are we gonna finish the clock? And the answer is never. And not because I want to be the cynical guy and saying that Sage, Domas, or Riki don't have the mental strength to finish it, but as long as this game exists, collection logs will be added to the game. So sure, let's say down the line, 12, 13, 15, 14 years, some of the big clue guys actually end up finishing the clues. It's never really gonna be done, like, as long as the game's around, there will be content. And so, and it's kinda ironic because next week we're gonna get sailing, so I guess finishing the game in the skilling sense is also a bit of a loose, term these days, but it's gonna be obviously way less frequent as clogging, because we're gonna get clogs, like, every 2 or 3 months, and that's not gonna change. Um So in that sense, already finishing the clock is kind of a temporary is always gonna be a temporary, like, goal, I guess. Same with all pets, though it's probably easier with all pets because you don't have to go out of your way to do, like, mini games and obviously clues, which are like the biggest hurdle for everyone that looks at it, that way. So skillers are pretty interesting in their mindset because First of all, we don't have a lot of collection log rambles. There's way more cloggers than skillers, obviously, because clogging is just playing the game, and skilling you actually sort of gotta go out of your way to invest that much time. Um, but skillers just have a an insane, ambitious mindset when it comes to finishing the game, and they got a pretty clear goal because 4.6, 200 mil all is very lenient, it's very straightforward, it's simple, you know, you got 23 skills or soon 24, and you just have to get 200 mil all. Like, not just. It's obviously, like, ridiculous. I'm probably never gonna go for it or even consider it at all. Um, but it's simple, you know? You got those skills, you do that, end of the story. The rates are predictable, everything's predictable. Collection log is not predictable. You get new new clocks, as I said, every 2, 3 months, and clues are obviously not predictable. So that got me also thinking about this topic. So I kind of wanted to talk about where the front pitch is, where I see a few people in the coming years and stuff like that. All right, let me look at my notes because it's getting out of hand already. What is finishing the clock? For some people, for a lot of people even, it's getting to the clue locked stage, meaning you have everything besides clue related clocks. Some people stretch it and say, okay, stable get also doesn't really count. Makes sense. Moonham is also getting added into that weird pool where people are not convinced it counts, or some people say it definitely counts. Um, but yeah, Clue Locked um, is for a lot of players being done with the game because most people also don't enjoy just doing clues. I mean, if you actually go beyond Clue Locked, I guess there's a like a um what's the word in English? There's like another stage that isn't fully completing the clock, but it's in the middle, which is getting to the third age locked stage, which is kind of interesting because it's definitely more reasonable, but still requires a lot of clues. So just the only person that has that currently. He's completed all the regular clue sections, even gilded, and is only missing third age besides bossing and rates related content. So this is where the difference is already compared to skilling, where it's fairly simple and straightforward, where you just say, okay, 200 mil all, there it is, that's finishing the game. But clogging uh, has different definitions, and it really depends on your ambition, sanity, and yeah, I mean, those two are gonna be very interesting to go beyond Clue Locked. Um, I think I'm gonna show a picture here, which I found kind of funny, where a guy is shoveling snow, and I immediately thought of um, being Clue Locked is like completing raids, mini games, and bossing, and then you look behind you, and there's like a future full of clues and clues and clues. Uh, that basically describes logging, and I don't think there's a wrong or right answer in what you consider being done with the log. It's a very personal one, and I know some people are very strict and they say, well, either you finish the whole clock or you're not done. And well, a lot of people are definitely more reasonable, especially the people that are clue locked themselves, where they sort of soft quit or just maintain scape where you just maintain the clocks and the new clocks, but you're not really focused on clues. Problem is also that elite clues, the meta is doing Callisto Shades or boosting Corp, and even then, it doesn't exceed more than like five-ish, five, maybe six. I don't know how much money you make with Corp, maybe even eight elites an hour. But even then, you'd have to do that for probably a decade to even be near finishing the clock. So for me personally, obviously, I'm not even close to being at clue locked. So my opinion is kind of vague and maybe even irrelevant. But what I can say is I definitely want to get clue locked. I think that's an amazing goal to have as a clogger, especially if you're beyond gilded rank, because I know a lot of cloggers these days, they see gilded clog even a lot of people even see gilded rank as finishing the clog, which is interesting. And it's interesting because it's kind of like being clue locked, where you have to sort of maintain it because you don't unlock it, and that's the end of the game because you can lose it, right? Whenever the threshold gets hired. Um, hired? Is that a word? Gets increased. Um, but I don't want to be that elitist guy that says guild rank is meh, but we have almost 300 players with the gilded rank right now. So it's definitely quite a reasonable goal for any clogger. But beyond that, I think clue locked is honestly a very nice goal for me personally, where I see, okay, might be done here. Um, then again, gonna repeat myself just to make it very clear. I'm still many thousand hours away from even being in the position where I have to make the decision to continue doing clues. I really enjoy doing clues, but how long will I actually do that? And you never know what the game brings, what life brings, and your interests, right? Like in the game itself, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm interested in skilling like most Clue Lock players, or maybe I'm just gonna soft quit or whatever. But I think Clue Locked is definitely for me finishing the game. It sounds so silly because this game is always evolving, but it's definitely finishing the clock, so to say, for me. Like everything after that is a mystery to me right now. So, but that's just how I think about it right now. Could always change. I could never even reach the clue lock goal in itself, and then all that is irrelevant anyway. Okay, the next section is gonna be about the current front page and the players that are currently clue locked and players that I see get clue locked in the future. Looking at the collection log right now, it's pretty interesting. Marnie was the first person to get clue locked, and that was in February last year. Just almost 2 years. 2 years if you think about it. Obviously, new content gets added, and so there's always something to do for cloggers. Um, but now we have 7 players clue locked. Yuhu being the first Iron to get clue locked in July, and I think shortly before that, Karilol was the last one to get True locked, so it is getting up there, and I've got, as you can see, I've got 2 more people marked here in yellow, Farming Armor and Blom. These 2 guys are most definitely next up regarding Clue locked. Farming Armor, I think he only needs, I think he's almost done with Boss Dog, maybe like 1 or 2 items missing. Maybe he's completely done. I know he's missing TOA, he recently finished CMs. And Blom is missing 1 or 2 items from the boss log, and then it's also only raids and I think a few miscellaneous stuff. So the top 10 is almost completely filled with Clue Log players soon. Um, and from the current Clue Log players, the only player going for clues right now is Domas. I don't know if Kylo has been, I know he's been opening his elites from Shades and he's got a big master stack, but I don't know how committed he is after that to continue doing clues. A lot of the players that are clue locked are currently not going beyond that due to the lack of elite clue methods or just different interest in skilling or other accounts, or I don't know, just not wanting to play the game. That's totally fair. But yeah, it's the first half of the front page is getting pretty stacked with clue lock players. Now the players that I have marked in orange are players that I definitely could see be close, if not even clue locked by the end of next year. There's probably way more people I should mark here, but I don't want to speak for people that I don't know. And even the people that are marked orange, I don't know. I don't really talk to them. But I'm interested in all the players' collection log, or well, I just look at players' collection logs and see where they're at and what their pace is, and if they've been slacking or if they've been really pushing. And the players that I have orange are people that I could definitely see be clue locked or close to by the end of next year. So this is also a nice time capsule to see if my prediction was more or less correct, and also see if players like Rusi will um, come back. And I know he's been playing recently a bit. Freak has also been doing a lot of elites, so that guy's also a really big contender. I don't know why I don't have him marked orange there. And again, this is very speculative, and all these guys that are here are fucking insane. Like these guys have insane accounts, insane EHC. We don't have to even mention Sedge. That guy is literally rank 2 EHC or rank 1, I don't know. Um, but yeah, another interesting thing is, maybe I'll display it here as well. In January of this year, the gap from rank 1 and rank 25 in regards to collection logs was, I think, around 80 to 90 clocks in difference. And now we're around 50-ish. So the front page is getting pretty dense and pretty tight. So it's very, very clear that Kalulok and beyond is where stuff gets nasty. Like that's where it's gonna stagnate very, very hard. And it's probably also the reason why a lot of Clue players just seek different interests and just do other stuff. But yeah, pretty cool to. I wanted to. Well, I didn't really want to do this before sailing, but it's nice to do it before sailing because with sailing coming out next week, it's gonna make the front page very volatile with the amount of clocks. So it's gonna be um, not completely accurate for a while. So yeah, this is pretty cool to see where it's gonna be. There's a lot of players that are not currently front page that I think also have quite the chance to get up there, or I see being clue locked fairly soon, I guess. Players like Ginny, and I mean, a lot of people that have all pets. I mean, Spain's. mm, Who else do I have? Wiki is an interesting candidate. He's obviously not getting clue locked next year, but he's doing the Sedge tech, so to say. But even players like that are super high EHC, like OTB, Linny, even players like Karibola that are doing a lot of leads, or Tuna Tuna. Those are really interesting candidates where I'm honestly excited to see where they'll be next year. Probably not front page because front page is just so competitive. Um, but I definitely see them regarding Clue Locked. Barcoding also an insane player, a full-on completionist, size B. Um, so those are, I don't want to say honorable mentions because that almost sounds rude. It has like a negative connotation, but those are also players that I have in mind that are not here at the front page, but I even someone like Stalter or I John have a few notes here of players that I am really impressed by. Spain's. So yeah, pretty looking forward to, and I think that's kind of exciting regarding clogging, as it's very volatile compared to front page skilling, as that's more or less set. Obviously, now with selling coming around, that's gonna change as well. But this front page is gonna be very interesting to see how it evolves. Obviously, top five is, or top three is definitely set in stone. Um, but like the lower end, and just seeing it slowly get filled up by clue lock players is very interesting. Really looking forward to where it's going. I'm not fully sure how and where this video was supposed to end, or what I wanted to add additionally. Uh, I just wanted to share this because I've been really intrigued just following players, following the the top guys and seeing where they're going with the clocks and who's still around, who's still pushing even beyond clue locked. And also, again, as a time capsule, how Saber used to do it for 2 years, just to see, okay, next year, let's look at that. Where's everyone? What's everyone up to? And so on. So I think I'll just end it here. Thanks for listening, guys.